I've noticed that when I imagine things, it often just looks like a cartoon or a scene from a movie. And this realization had happened. I was reading poetry, and as I tried to imagine what it looked like, all I could see was just like anime. like it just and I really don't like that effect because I feel like I'd expect it to be it's like I watch TV and then it gives me extra perspectives to view the world by. But instead, it just replaces my just a normal human perspective, and then the everyday perspective is covered by cartoons and high like uh, high budget screens, and it's like the way we perceive the world is not with a camera, and I don't like that my imagination imagines it like it's a camera, that things are cartoony. I want to be able to perceive the world normally in my imagination. Like, I want to be able to read poetry and imagine the world in a way that is not so strongly affected by the entertainment that I consume on stuff. Yeah. And I think this happens because, it's like cartoons, it's kind of easier to imagine. It's like an easier common denominator. But it's also just, you have such strong feelings when you watch shows because it's such dense material. So it makes you feel really strong, like stronger than really is natural. And that's an argument in of itself for entertainment being bad. But, it's not like that ever made me stop watching TV. But after realizing that it affects my imagination and it makes me unable to imagine the world in a normal way, I kind of, I really don't want to watch things anymore because I like imagining things. Like, I want to imagine things properly. And it's so wild that, in my dreams, sometimes it's a cartoon world. And I had a dream where I was plankton. and it's like, I'm just cartoony. There's a lot of cartoon dreams. And it's like, my world is so impacted that my dreams are cartoons. It's like, it's weird. It's not normal. And that in itself, it's not like a bad thing. It's just, it shows how deeply ingrained it is. And I don't want to watch TV anymore. And it's like, it's such a hard thing to do that I originally, when I was writing for the video, I just write my thoughts down, and I finished all my thoughts, and then at the end of it was like, okay, hey, this video is TV's bad, and anyway, the next video is gonna be about why I like anime, haha, and then I'm just gonna make a joke out of me not, following through on my principles, and I kinda think you probably should follow through on your principles, what are principles for? So, and I had this realization when the priest was talking about how saints are important because they show extreme versions of being really holy, and it's it inspires people because they're so extreme. I was just inspired by the extremeness itself, and I want to embody that aspect of it. It inspired me in a different way that I feel other people look at it. Because most of the time, people, they look at saints and it's oh, he did this extreme thing. And it's I don't have to do the extreme thing, but it still inspires me to be slightly better than I am right now. But me, what inspires me is the extremity by which they do it. So, I want to kind of have that spirit, the, like, role models aspect of it, like you're at the extreme of it. And I want to fully commit to my principles, even if it's like at a high cost. Okay, so I have finishing thoughts now. So, it's not like what I've been talking about, like imagination being covered is the only reason to stop watching TV. But it's the only thing that really convinced me. Like, there's also the arguments, like, it's such a dense experience and it's, like, too strong. And it makes it so that life is no longer just, the peak of your experience. There's something else that is there. That puts your life into perspective, because entertainment is distilled life. So it's the life, but more dense. And since it's distilled, it has the qualities of life, and that are supposed to be separated over months and months, or even years. And it's that's just wild, because it's not a thing you're supposed to experience. But it didn't change my mind, as I said earlier, assuming I didn't cut it out, because I'm saying it now. But it's just, it's really concretized when I just think about how, when I imagine things, all I see is the cartoons, and I imagine the world like it's like my perspective is a camera, and it's just, as I said earlier, assuming I didn't cut it out, I talked about how I was gonna just continue watching TV anyway. It was like, I'll watch it less, but I'll still watch kind of. Like, I'll finish Arcane, and I'll finish, what I'm watching. And sometimes I'll watch TV once in a while. But I think it's actually, Arcane would be more impactful if I cut it short right now. And that, it's like there's a mystery after, and I keep it here, because then it has a bigger symbol. It symbolizes the cut from where I watched entertainment to where I stopped. So, if I cut it now, and it gives the show the symbolism that this is like me ending everything. Things, it just feels like it works. And it's like I'm not gonna fiend to watch the next episode like forever, I'm fine, it's not a huge deal. And yeah. So as a final word for this video, there's one reason that people gave for watching television that actually kind of resonated with me, which is that it helps connect with people, because something to talk about. And I was talking to this guy, and he was talking about movies and stuff, like Patriot, stuff like that, and I was kind of not really into movies, and it kind of was really awkward, because where do you go from there? There's nothing that any of us have to pick up, and he just continued talking about movies. So you gotta have proper skill to move the conversation, and that's, and movies, it's easy to talk about, it gives people things to talk about, but I feel like it's still it's not good enough of a reason to watch entertainment. You're choosing your entertainment for the simple sake of talking about it. I feel like this is not a very compelling enough reason. There's definitely validity to it, where entertainment has more value if you can connect people with it, because you can't really talk to people about books as much unless you read the same book, and it's kind of unlikely. unless they're like heavy readers. Anyway, that's it's basically, I think that's the main thing that has kept me from quitting. And I don't think it's good enough reason. So that's it. Cheers.